This is Black and Alive, which is an IG live interview series presented by 28 Shades of Black Magic. Skip, do I call you Skip? Do I call you Howard?
Whatever. I'll answer to whatever.
All right, cool. Skip was one of our features this year in the photo series. If you go to our page, you can check it out, see some wonderful photographs of him and everyone else. And yeah, so first, for starters, just introduce yourself and all that you do, upcoming projects, everything.
All right, so I'm Howard Nedrick Jr., aka Skip from BK, comedian, actor, host, blogger, podcaster. I've added a couple things since February, but I have a website now. It's called Cove Alpha, so I do some articles there. I have a podcast now called Dreams Money Can Buy, where I kind of like interview, similar to what you're doing, like interviewing creatives, and I've been like releasing a couple episodes out. So I have my hand in a lot of things at the same time.
Cool. That sounds great. And how frequently do you do the podcast?
So I recorded the first season already. So we're at episode 6, just recently came out. I know Tamara was on episode 4 of that project. So we have like 4 more episodes to go in season 1. So I'm trying not to, because I'm a little upset. I was trying to like schedule 1 and 2 at the same time, season 1 and 2, and COVID happened. So I wasn't really trying to get people outside, so we're going to shift, but I just want to get that first season out and then kind of like brainstorm.
That's good. I mean, it's great that you were being ambitious to try to get all your interviews out of the way, but having 1 season is really great to show for. Mm-hmm. And that leads me to my next question, which is, how are you as an artist in your work? How has all of that been affected by COVID-19? And then you can answer the question in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement as well. So you personally, your work, all of that, how has it been affected?
Well, since we're kind of like coming up on month 3 of this, like the first month, I just didn't feel like writing for comedy. I didn't really feel like doing anything. So I was like kind of disengaged. I wasn't really inspired. But I think after like the last 30 to 40 days, like kind of like I started my website on May, right? And then my first podcast episode was like May 6th. Mm-hmm. So I feel like once I had like those things to ground me, I've been getting back into the swing of things of just getting creative and doing all those types of things. In relation to the Black Lives Matter, I think ever since, George Floyd's death, it's like a powder keg. So we all just kind of like stepped up to really do our best to support. So I do donations. I've been signing petitions. I actually wrote an article about what it's like to live as a Black person. And then I listed so many names of Black men, Black women, trans women, like young Black girls and boys that have been killed because of police violence. So I think it's just good to include all those names and I make sure to make them read. So when people read it, they feel like this was someone's son, this was someone's daughter, this was someone's husband, wife, father, all those type of things. And I feel like a lot of times it's weird that I had to do that, and people that don't look like us get it now. And I wrote it in a way that wasn't like pointing the finger, but just understanding the systemic racism that happens. Mm-hmm. And now it's just we're engaged. We've been protesting every day. I haven't gone just because COVID's still there, and I do want to be careful with my mother. I'm crossing my fingers, don't want to jinx it. I hope I don't have it, but we'll figure it out. But I think that's it. Like, just keep applying the pressure. I think that's a phrase that we've been hearing for the last 2 to 3 weeks. We're just gonna keep applying the pressure because we're not done yet. Like, we have so many bits of change that we need to do. We need to get the people that killed Breonna Taylor arrested and hopefully placed in jail. We want to hopefully get George Floyd and any person that's killed a Black man, Black woman, Black child, Black trans woman, and just really like take it seriously. So I think right now we're in a very interesting place of history where we're going to actually make an effect for the next generation. So it's pretty impressive with that.
Yeah. And do you have any, well, I have 2 more questions. Which route do I want to go? I guess any advice or anything you want to say to like other young artsy people who their day-to-day lives have been like, of course, just totally interrupted by everything going on right now, and how to move forward and still produce their work, but also remain, I don't want to say relevant, but just mindful of the times?
I think people have to be gentle with themselves. Like, I couldn't force myself to create. I had to kind of like go through it for feeling sad, feeling like, all right, so a lot of plans kind of went to the crapper, really. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to be more mindful for our physical and mental, emotional health. You can't create if you don't feel good. And if you're trying to feel good, then it's just not going to be a good case. So I think before anybody tries to create, that's a creator that makes anything, art, podcast, writing, visuals, I think the first thing is that people just need to be okay. Do that mental health, do that self-care. And when they have the energy to create, try to take advantage of it. Because, it's creative. It kind of comes and goes. So when you have the energy, do it. If you do not have the energy, don't shame yourself. Because a lot of people keep looking at other people create. And it's like, oh my God, these people are creating and I'm not. When it's not that at all.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. So what's something that you've been kind of meditating on lately, or just something that's been heavy on your mind? Like as we enter month 3 of this, as you say.
I'm scared for the COVID rate back up. And that's just because, Memorial Day, I've been seeing a lot of people outside without masks. And it's like people are thinking the good weather is going to have like COVID-19 going to go to sleep. When in actuality, we had to have the same habits we did before everywhere. So I know New York, it hasn't started to spike yet. But after all the protesting, people being so close to each other, and some people had masks, some people didn't, I think it's just very serious. Like, I'm kind of worried what happens in a week or two, even in New York when it comes to because we're in phase 1. And, LA, Miami, Atlanta, Houston have experienced spikes. So that's what I'm worried about because, when it comes to the black and brown people, mostly black, we're contracting it at a higher rate. We're not getting the medical attention that we need. So we're dealing with it ourselves, and that's not really working. So we need to be very mindful of that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the exact same way. I'm like, people talking about Juneteenth is going to be lit this year. And I'm like, stay home. Like, just stay home. Like, y'all better do like Zoom, Google Hangouts, whatever you got to do to celebrate. But like, please social distance some more, especially in a city like ours. There are thousands and thousands of people protesting, So I totally feel you on that. Moving forward, let's see. Are there any organizations in terms of like Black Lives Matter, anything Black owned that you've been supporting in particular, and anything you want to tell us about?
I've been in the beginning, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was donating for the bail funds. So because we had protesters going out there, so I was doing a lot for New York City, and then I was going to aim for like other cities. Like I think I did Minneapolis and like those memorial funds for George Floyd. So things like the mutual funds and the bail funds. So mutual funds supposed to be helping people in those cities that need financial relief or some type of help. I haven't really donated with Black Lives Matter just because I wanted to make sure that my money goes directly to kind of like funds that I know should be helping people get out.
Right.
Not to say that Black Lives Matter doesn't, but there's been a little bit of controversy with them getting all this money from celebrities and other things, and what are they doing with it? Exactly. So I just think I was just trying to be more proactive with the funds, and also signing petitions. Like after this, hopefully I drink some more gin tea, get some soup, and I'm going to just sign more petitions and just kind of like get that going. So just while I'm here, because I'm not really trying to go outside, just trying to make the most of it. Just keep signing petitions, keep doing what I can, sharing information, paying attention to what's going on with a lot of these open cases, and hopefully we get these officers arrested so they can take responsibility for the heinous actions that they've done to our community.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. I think someone shared an article earlier today. It was Styles P saying like, what is Black Lives Matter doing with this money? And not to say, and like you said, not to say anything disrespectful about Black Lives Matter, but I want to know exactly where my dollar is going. Like it might be more helpful to put the money in the hands of someone who is struggling, of someone who is without food or without clothes or without a home, rather than sending it through the internet to some organization that's a nonprofit that is probably printing T-shirts or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to check out that Styles P article. But yeah, I think it's to be more comfortable with research. Like we can't just be impulsive because we're hurting. We want to make sure that we want to move with intentional energy, and we want to make sure that we're not caught with a gotcha. Like no respect to a particular individual by the name of Sean King, but we've seen a lot of people that supposedly are for us, and they've been kind of like fraudulent, they've been kind of like scammy. So we have to make sure we pay attention to who our leaders are. We have to make sure we pay attention to how do we support other people in times of need. and how do we make sure that we're financially, mentally, emotionally good ourselves? Because there's like 20%, 25% unemployment rate in the entire country. So it's very scary. So a lot of people need financial assistance. So we have to figure it out how we're going to be supportive for our people, really.
Yes, exactly. So, I guess on a lighter note, I've been asking everyone, what's your favorite blackity black ass anthem? Whatever song uplifts you. I give examples like "All Right" by Kendrick Lamar, "I'm Black and I'm Proud," something like that.
So I was thinking, I thought it too. I just want to make sure that the first one counted because we're in summertime. So I feel like every time I hear Will Smith "Summertime," it makes me feel good because that's when we kind of go to our reunions and we get to see
Yeah.
so many black faces of all age groups. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of, man, this is a cookout. This is a
Yeah.
reunion. So if that didn't count, I was going to use Beyonce "Freedom" with Kendrick Lamar. I think it's that's a powerful one because obviously we want that. So I just think either one of those, if either of those work, but I would just be like,
Yeah.
those are the songs that make me feel like proud to be black, even though I'm always proud to be black. Just the emphasis on what those songs kind of mean.
Yeah, definitely. When I spoke with my friend Najee in this interview earlier this week, he said "Other Side of the Game" by Erykah Badu. And it's like,
Wow.
well, this is a powerful song by a black artist. Everything that we make is black art. So you point out "Summertime," especially since what the Fresh Prince is describing is something many of us are missing out on this year, is a really beautiful thing. And everything he's saying is a black summertime experience. Like, I'm pretty sure there are non-blacks who can't quite relate.
No.
It's just not the same. So yeah, no, that's a great one. And of course, "Freedom" is an iconic recording. And yeah, this went by really quickly, only 15 minutes. So
Let's see if this actually uploads because it's like so much short. I don't know if it's the memory that you have of those really in-depth conversations.
Yeah, those other conversations like a half hour. Tatiana took up like an hour, and I tried to get it down to 30 minutes. So we'll see. Maybe you'll be the first video that gets uploaded.
No worries.
But yeah, before we wrap up and before you tell us where to find you and remind us of your website, your websites, is there anything else you'd like to say, you'd like to share?
I want to say thank you. I think you've done something when it comes to 28 Shades of Black Magic for like 2-3 years of really highlighting, black creatives. So I think you should definitely get a pat on the back. I feel like a lot of times creatives don't get to hear thank you and that you're appreciated for what you do. So yeah, that's it. I think you've done great in these 2 weeks and, wishing many future things for the next round of 28 Shades of Black Magic and your other endeavors. So I think that's what I want to say.
Thank you so much. That was so great. So yeah, let's just close this out. I'm gonna pass the mic to you. Just let us know all your websites. Remind us of the name of your podcast and where we can find you.
All right, deal. So I got a lot. So hopefully when people watch it, they don't get annoyed. So you can find me everywhere on Skip from BK. There's no numbers or initials, so Skip from BK. My website is Cove Alpha. So it's COVEALPA. So it's a website. There's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page. My podcast is on that website. It's called Dreams Money Can Buy Podcast. And you can find it on Apple Podcasts everywhere, like Google, all those type of things.